Hey y'all, this is Aphrodite. I am being channeled through David Solomon, who's just here to say a quick hi. Hey everybody, I've wanted to do this for a while, and so first of many. And he's kind enough to let me in because when you have confidence as a channel, you allow yourself to be open. And because he just accepted one of my answers to his prayers, whew, he is so much more open to my energy. So what happened is Sunday, he was feeling all crappy. And he had this Thai meal, and this guy talked about being a husband and all this stuff. And he's like, what's going on in this world? And then he got a green burrito, one of the super healthy things, and he got triggered as fuck, to use his language. And so the aspect of this trigger was a matter of the past, had nothing to do with the present. But he prayed to me and he said, Aphrodite, please help relieve this tension. Please send love to those from whom the conflict is highly involved. Please heal my heart. And then some. And what ended up happening is I came in and I'm like, why you focus on healing? Let's manifest. You want a lover? Here's a lover. And he got a message from a young man. And now, long story short, it was a delightful night. Now, the key of this story of something like that happened the same day when you know who Mr. Solomon's extremely picky with very high standards. But you know that prayers can be answered in a moment. Those of you praying for a twin flame, those of you praying for a big bank account boost or an instant healing, or someone to fall in love with you or out of love with you, or for you to find true love or have your heart healed, whatever your prayer, your level, your intention, whatever you be, just know that I'm here. All the people who channel me, all the statues and the figurines and the myths and legends and stories, the only thing that's true about me is what's true in your heart. And that can be channeled by a man or a woman or a them or a they or non-binary or fill in the pronoun with the current cultural lexicon. It don't matter. By a soul. So if you as a soul want to channel Aphrodite, you got to follow 4 steps. Now this is one formula, not the formula, and it's as true for you as you feel it is in your heart. So step 1 to invite me into your space is find an image that you can relate to that depicts me. Could be as a warrior goddess, could be as a fat Greek thing, could be under a name in an Egyptian pantheon or a Hindu pantheon, whatever. Find an image. Feel the realness of the connection and the possibility. That's step 1. Put that on your lock screen, on your wallpaper, statue, tapestry, whatever. Like painted nail, little stick figure with a dress and an A. It's Goddess Aphrodite. Just connect with me, y'all. Step 2 is take time to connect. Psychically, telepathically, verbally, any language, any words. I don't get offended that easily. Don't insult me to my face unless you want to get a war on hoo-ha. Otherwise, babe, just talk to me however. And just talk. 10 minutes a day, 3, 4, 5 times a week. David's obsessed about an hour a day with the divine. At least he'll just punish himself and spank his whole emotional brain if you don't do that. But I'm offering 15 minutes, a few times a week. You could talk and pause to listen. You can pray, you can mantra, you can study me. You can work on channeling me. Whatever. Donate to a temple of Aphrodite that you feel is in integrity. Led by who, it don't matter. That's step 2. Now, step 3 is invite me into your life. Right? If you go to some city and you hear about some holy person, first you find out where it is. Then you have a conversation. Then you decide if you want to work together. If you like the vibrations you feel from me, we work together. Right? If you want me to be your friend, you invest equally in the relationship. Now, you know what that means. If you want me to be an investor in you, to send you spiritual energy, energy of love from my, yeah, infinite sources and infinite time and attention, but still, if you would like something from me, infinite unconditional love does not mean infinite agreeableness. If you want to find a muskrat and take a fish hook and do something terrible and have me bless you in the name of that, turn off the channel, right? And even though we're being silly here, you know what it is to ask for a true, rich love experience, or to cast the love spell, which is like magical rape, in which, you know, turn off the channel. I don't do that. Harry Potter, there's some gray areas in that love spell stuff, right? But a real love spell, or as David would say, what the ancient one would call a program. You had to chip in, like, yes, I would, but let's not interrupt the channel. He's like, fine. so, so, so this is David. I just experienced a very grateful phenomenon of what I call the ego filter. It's in Magic is Real Book 2. It's when you're talking about channeled material, essentially how present is the 3D ego in that channel. And right now it's about 100% present. You know, Aphrodite's like, no, it's some smaller fraction, but you know, just for super simplicity, especially if this is the first time you've heard this concept, so we don't get into very complex math. Um, I have a block related to receiving love. And yeah, I'm not affirming or manifesting that. I'm observing that, like I have a hand, right? It's gone. Yeah, some magician I am. No, I don't do stage magic. Anyway, when you take a topic that the ego has a lot of attachment to, the ego could come right up online. And that's why I was permitted to channel all sorts of stuff until this topic. So I have a lot of sadness in my system. And I can just say right now the two other Aphrodite recommendations, requests, programs that she would say that I feel are true, or that have proven themselves much more than in the channeling that was about to continue, and it'll continue in a bit. The two other things are practice gratitude and scale, right? Yeah, I know they make 5 things in the list, and scale is, you know, my ego's thing. When I think of scale, I think of, you know, big visions and dreams and love. And I also was just talking to somebody who had that stuff. But, you know, Aphrodite would say true unconditional love in the moment. It doesn't matter the form, the quantity, the anything. You know, you could feel unconditional love for a frog, and, you know, maybe there's certain things you wouldn't do with the frog, you naughty human, but you can have unconditional love with the rock. You know, kids do all the time. Oh, my pet rock is dead, right? All right, so let me clear this block. It's a pretty deep one, so I'm not going to use any power objects. If I was in a rush, I would use these super conductive chi amplifying bracelets, which can open chakras really well. I'm not going to use them on my crown because I care to have ego disillusion in this topic, but I am going to use them on my throat to boost the energy in my throat chakra. So I can do a big throat healing and release it without having to scream and like, I don't know, neighbors would probably be into that, but you know, my neighbors. But also, you know, if you're energy sensitive, you know, tune into my third eye, which is quite open and out, and my throat, which is at the moment kind of condensed and in. My voice is even a bit throaty. My throat's even a bit dry. So this is about 8 of these things. And as I place them here, just focus on my throat chakra's energies. Yeah, sorry for the funky green screen effect, working on that. And just, so what I feel instantly, you know, effortless, if you're not feeling in the flow of doing energy work, it's great. Like, you're not feeling like becoming a breatharian, it's great to have food. Let me just save this other voice note here because I was recording this for a meditation too, and we had a blip. Okay, so my throat chakra towered out in this rich, thick tunnel. and it sent out big lung platforms in each direction, but it's not fully moving. So I'll just do some cymatics and some tapping and some Neigong, and then I'll explain it and then resume the channeling if that's permitted. I release through burping. Everyone releases differently. So apologies, sorry, not sorry, if that displeases you. Tachyon one. As Black Widow would say, that's cognitive recalibration, or I hit him really hard in the head. So special prize to whoever gets that movie reference. All right, I'm going to start the chakras. I'm going to kind of clean out the spin. There's some gunk in there. More clean chakra. Now back. We're going to proxy location. So I'm not going to put my hands behind here because I have some tight muscles back here, which is why I haven't been channeling, every day for 5 years. Wound is gift. So touching the back of my neck from behind the back of my neck. Yeah, normally I would spit, but I became self-conscious and didn't spit. So shame on me. Have to pull that energy out through the 4D because it came out as 3D for a reason, and I denied that. But we grow in increments. One is the gift. This is actually great too because well, I'll explain after. Whew. Wow. All right, this time I will let the biochemical aspect of that trauma leave. So petite. I learned that technique from a woman named Leslie, fabulous, fabulous human being at my first breatharian training. She firmly believed and taught me something I believe is very true, is that when you have a trauma, that's emotions you can't fully process in a moment, stores in your body as cortisol, as inflammation, as other stuff, as excess water, excess whatever, body fat. And as you release that trauma through various methods, I hope it doesn't get stuck in an acupuncture point that's active because I'm healing my eyes right now. But as you release that trauma, it's got to go somewhere, right? So things can break up into energy, E equals MC squared, right? Like you can pull out physical crap through the 4D. No medical statements being made here, a legal disclaimer. You can, pull out, dissolve, transmute 3D stuff through 4D, through 5D. We know that, right? And sometimes, we're in a 3D body. It makes sense to work with a 3D. So your body's like, oh, I don't need this cortisol of that thing that happened when I was 15 or whatever. And the body's like, okay, here's this cortisol in a packet. It's like people do intense journeys and purge, same deal, but a smaller scale. Okay, must explain why I was not able to channel fully and what was going on in my mind so I can be fully transparent, real, raw, honest, and vulnerable, lead by example, and show, don't tell. All right, thanks. That was a matron Aphrodite. It was like, if the first one was the biological age of 25, 26 to 30 something, this other one was like 852. She looked great, but she allowed herself the appearance of gray hair. She says, I love you, David, but you're not yet ready for this manifestation. Let me take it on for you here. Ego filter is going to be about 38%. It was about 5% before. Let the audience be notified. Let them also see this as an example of growth in the channeling continuum. And you were showing this because professional channels who have been up for a while, Paul Selig, Esther Hicks, etc., Seth Godin, Seth, okay, um, releasing fear. So knowing what it's like to go through a continuum of gradually accessing channeling and not just seeing instant perfection will help you, will help you, which is gift, increase your ability to channel at will with less resistance and without a bunch of rings on your head, which can support this. So why don't you do that now in service, because they know the possibility. And with the rings, ego filter goes down, back down to 5%. Cool. So before I continue, all right, y'all. All right. Wow. David, what you doing this? I guess I didn't purge all of what I had to purge. All right. So the persona of Aphrodite coming in as more feminine energy rather than a feminine persona, which David's ego was embarrassed by and getting self-conscious about. Who said I had to be a Southern woman? Who said I had to be a black man and a white man? At the divine aspect of creation, at the divine level, form is thought instantly. Aphrodite as reptile, fine. Aphrodite as, Loketa, fine. Aphrodite as a tachyon, great. I want you to think about a time when you wanted to love so bad that your heart ached. I want you to think about a time when you felt so much you had to stop feeling. I want you to think about a time when the elements of who you are as a divine being, as a channel, as an extremely high level magical being in any lifetime. Tap into that memory, that knowing. You have it now. If it hasn't here before, I bequeath it unto you. So take that memory with as much vivid detail as comes. When you saw yourself in that life with that rich, incredible love, and then that terrible thing happened, and then there was an imprint and a mark, and you never fully recovered. What you're looking at is page 5, while you're writing page 500. Page 5 might have certain things in common, like the language you're writing in, maybe even the title of your book. But there's been a lot of plot and character development since page 5. So however many days, weeks, months, years, lifetimes, eons, galaxies, universes, multiverses, whatever your unit of measure, look at your life and your story as it is now. Quantum observation. What you observe is the truth. Abracadabra. I create as I speak. If you say now, I am in love, you are in love. And as you know, with manifestation, working on the inner being happens, and then the outer being happens. Saying, I am in love with Sylvester Stallone. Cool, is he in love with you? Right? So you can bring in anything, and you know deep down, if you're speaking the truth of a feeling, of a directional feeling, or of a manifestation. When you refer to the past elements that you don't like, you refer to them in past tense. I was blank. Blank happened to me. Whatever, period. When you say, I am in love, you're fine. You are in love. Now, if you want to manifest the phrase, I am in a loving partnership in its 5th year, with the richness and the excitement and the variety and the support and the adventure and the expansion and the bliss. That's a manifestation. David's ego tried hard to come online thinking about an event later, and I said no. David was feeling ashamed for lack of lovers. Even though David's had, he's very much fighting with me over the words. Isn't that interesting, that ego? So he's had a number of lovers, as we all have. Numbers can be anything, so there you are. But he's ashamed that his uh, quantity and quality were not at a higher level, which is still a very censored translation of his thoughts. However, for cosmopolitan application and service, that's a spiritual bypass, but no matter, the meaning is clear. There is sexual shame in the system until there is none. As the system becomes free of sexual shame, the blocks of the root chakra can open. As the blocks of the root chakra open, they can clear. Imagine a clogged river. The river widens. The clogs break up. Water flows around them. They move. And then one by one, they leave. And then the pipe opens wider. And then there is no pipe. And it's infinite bliss, infinite love, infinite abundant manifestation. The chakras are a temporary structure. They help organize the infinite so much as your ego mind needs a reduction of the infinite to have form. The beautiful element of the love you can receive and the opening your first chakra can experience is your choice. You can affirm my root chakra is perfect. My root chakra is open, clear, clean, healed, absolutely what it's supposed to be, richer every moment. I am noticing it is richer every moment. The manifestation in your love life, in your financial life, and all topics of the root. As David felt the energy of his root open, flower, and expand. That mantra, which you can cut, loop, paste, duet, stitch, save, request recreations, request mantras, request meditations, those are coming from me. David will probably allow it. I'm going to encourage David, but he's open to channeling to hear. I just offered for it to be embodied into him so I can work through him to create these meditations for you. Now that he knows, he's a lot more excited because his ego won't be all fearful. Those won't be censored in any way. Even the topic of the need for censorship, the trigger warnings, the reasons we didn't use certain words, certain potentially triggering words related to wounds, related to love and sexuality. There's a wide array of topics that flow through the root. And if the root has a capacity for, say, 35 topics a day, it can handle, that other topic, but maybe not in a day where it's already had 34 and a half, right? So here's packing a significant variety of value into your system, but not blowing it out. You must do what you know you must do intuitively. David would like to say a few words, but I'm not going to let him market himself. That is for the description, and that is for other types of videos. The channeling videos will not be marketed upon with text other than expanding access to the direct channeling and those after it. So in the spiritual alignment and integrity of full and complete access, I would like for you to know David's name and number. He's saying he doesn't want to receive the types of love that could come because there could be things other than love. So he's afraid lack of love when I wanted him to share his phone number. So you can see this is a very blocked root chakra. Yet, it is blocked relative to David's own system. When you talk about a block in a chakra, What is the flow? 0 to 100%? What is 100%? Is it your 100% that you can conceive of? Is it another person's 100%? Is it some fantasy? Is it something on the top 1% of all of humanity? I offer that there is infinite opening of chakras and that it is one to infinity. So very blocked could be extraordinarily open compared with some beings in the world. David's standards for himself, David's desires, wishes, intentions to fulfill things in this world, a $15 billion temple complex that can offer healing and education and support and licensed and certified professional services and safe housing for all topics related to love and sexuality, as I wrote through him in Magic is Real, chapter 13. That's significant money with significant oversight, significant transparency, focus, resources. This chakra level of opening for $13 billion to flow through for the purpose of building this temple alone, not for percent of profit that comes from business. This temple is not for that purpose. Very blocked could mean 80% of that, but 80% of 13 billion, the number that's left is still quite high. And even here, that experience was for David to feel more shame, as he wouldn't allow me to fully channel that math on command, as he knows he has done in the privacy of his own not shared channelings. So his ego is preventing the release of that, and it's really saying too much, too much. So we're going to honor the trauma of the being, as he would like to call and allow it to stay manifested for his own wound gift thought patterns. We will bless, and we wish you not just a very Merry Christmas, but we wish you all the love you wish for yourself. We at the end, I was much more present, 40, 50. I'm glad that came through. And I hope for you that it feels right to experiment with your own connection with Aphrodite, to find the image, connect with the consciousness, ask for what you'd like, practice gratitude, and scale.